Here at McCann I'm an Associate Creative Director. That means I manage a team of creative people, a smaller team. And part of the job role or description is to ensure quality, develop the concepts, develop the ideas, and also be a front when it comes to meeting clients. So most of the clients assigned to my group, I know them personally and work very closely with them. After I graduated, I used to work for a newspaper for a while. I was a journalist, and it was a stopover job. I was looking for something that I enjoyed, that I would actually love doing. A friend of mine suggested advertising. I tried it, and well, 13 years later, I'm still here, and I've enjoyed it ever since. In this job, you're inspired daily. But one of the most challenging things is to work. Well, number one, obviously you work with people. People are always challenging. People always change. People have moods. People are human. So learning that one bit of it. The next hard part of this is that when you work with clients who are also obviously human, every brand has a different issue behind it. And then the third part of it is when you look at what's happening outside. So there's the economy, there is the brand performance, there are the consumers who are buying a product and suddenly don't want to buy a product anymore. So one of the most challenging things is how do you keep all these things on a loop, in balance, and keep them level? Because you can't do without one or the other. And they all come together and they work together, and that the challenging thing is to put it all together in a way that makes sense. I think the best part about this job and what's kept me going for 13 years is something I said earlier, which is it's always fresh every single day. It also means it brings you fresh challenges every day. So it depends on what you thrive on. Some people thrive on things being the same, things being predictable, things being just as they were yesterday. And I prefer things that make me do something different every day. I prefer having a fresh set of things to work on every day. I prefer walking into the room and not knowing anything about a subject, but being forced to learn it or pick it up fast. Because I think these are things that when you put them together, they give you an energy. And it's the energy that keeps you going. Otherwise, you end up very tired, you end up bored, you don't go anywhere. And I've never met any industry leader who was not inspiring. They always are inspiring in different ways and different extents. You don't find an industry leader who's dull and boring and just wants to go home. It doesn't exist anywhere. So that's one of the greatest things. I think I just read something recently. It's a biography of Steve Jobs, the one that was just released. And the wonderful thing about him was he literally worked to the exclusion of almost everything else. But because it was his driving force and his driving thought. And this is a guy who, he made 400 million when he was like 25 or something like that. And when he died, I think it was worth like 7 billion or something like that, personally. So it takes something to make something. That's the most interesting thing. I think it comes from Malaysian schools when we used to say, okay, here's science stream, there's all smart kids there. Yeah. Here's art stream, all of us don't want to study. Sucks. Which is not true. There's a different thing about arts. I mean, I went through the science stream. I wanted to be an engineer. I've actually gone through a couple of semesters of engineering courses. I didn't like it, so I switched over to business. In the end of the day, I graduated with a degree in business. I also I finished up up to a minor level in communications. So there is no such thing as, I'm not sure where it comes from, where they say advertising is just for the people who can't study, but here in this office we have 3 MBAs. We have a fairly large number of at least bachelor degree levels, and the rest all have very strong diplomas. So we don't really have any education rejects or anything else. Yeah. And like I was telling you earlier, I will be finishing this Saturday is my MBA presentation. So I will have an MBA, and it was part of the 4-year scholarship. So there is education industry, there are intelligent people in industry, there is a lot of intellectual capacity. Yeah. It's just where you look for it and how it's brought up and used. Because it is becoming a more intellectual process. I would say if you want to do it, step in, do it, enjoy it, learn from it. It is some of the most interesting things you can do with your life. And of course, you meet an interesting and very diverse group of people as well. I think it is when you've left school, there's a time where you got to find yourself. You got to find what you want to do, and at the same time, consider that you're also building your brand. So what's in your brand? And if your brand is made of some kind of intellectual capacity, your brand is made of continuous learning process, your brand is made of hard work, diligence, then I think it's a brand that lasts you, way on into your life. And it's the same as building a brand for a consumer product. What sort of things do you want in that brand? And if you want a good variety of things, a good variety of experiences, then I would say advertising has all of that. And there are a lot of opportunities available to people who work hard. Skill level, okay, if you're considering a job in the creative department, there are writers, there are art directors, and there are designers. Skill obviously would be, if you're a writer, be able to write, be able to spell, be able to write in proper grammar, be able to write interesting things. If an art director, of course, we all understand art direction, be able to use a computer, Illustrator or Photoshop, very basic things. In terms of advertising skill, the ability to have ideas, it's an interesting space because it's not something you're born with. You don't just sort of have ideas. Having ideas is a habit, and the more you have the habit, the more ideas you have. The more ideas you have, the chances are that some of these will be good. I think the one last thing, which is not in the question, but one last thing that people need to have is some kind of belief or some kind of a willpower, because belief gets you everywhere. If you don't believe in what you're doing, you don't believe that you can do it, if you don't believe that you are going to, somewhat, well, I won't say you're going to change the world, but you are going to somewhat change the world, because think about it, you're changing consumers, you're changing brands. If you do it well, you can change the world. And if you believe you can do it, you someday will.